As the years have passed, Stepford County Railway's map has added many little Easter eggs and small details that you might not have noticed before. Ever since my first video on this came out, go watch it if you haven't yet, there have been plenty of updates with plenty of secrets to come with it. So, without further ado, here are 25 more random things in SCR you might not know. So, let's get started. Number 1. Spawn at West Wyvern and walk along this road towards these houses. You should reach a church with a graveyard. Looks normal, right? Well, if you look closely, the graves mention some trains that you used to be able to drive. The Class 701, 465, 508 and 700. These trains all got replaced by other trains in SCR over time, so it looks like the developers wanted to use this to commemorate what the game used to be. Number 2. Have you ever noticed how strange and seemingly random this network of paths looks at Faraday Road? Well, if you drive a train and zoom out far enough, you can actually see that these paths spell the letters TJH. This is a subtle reference to the developer and community director TJ844, who contributed to building many parts of the map. His little signatures can also be seen in some clutter at St Helens Bridge, where there are 2 sets of 4 items on the end to represent 44, and in this box near Airport West. Although, it is ironic that his About Me section says you shouldn't refer to him as TJH. Number 3. We all know and love Matty X 2013, the former developer. But have you ever noticed that he has his own freight company in SCR? There are some M-Rail branded Class 66s across the map, which he modelled himself, seen here at Airport Parkway and also here at West Wyvern. Unfortunately, we're not able to drive them, as cool as they look, as freight isn't an operator in SCR. Yet. Number 4. Remember Matty was here at Whitefield? Well, if you spawn at James Street and follow me to this brick wall, you can see another little bit of graffiti saying Greasem was here. This is a reference to Greasem, a former platform manager at SCR who also contributed some bits to the map. The spray paint cans are also labelled Grease Paint Factory and Forest Spirit White. Number 5. We all know about those weird abandoned platforms on the fast lane at Upper Staplow, but since version 2.0, there have been some developments on this. If you head over to the platforms, you can see these derelict, abandoned looking tracks in the place where the old alignment used to be. Once again, this is some SCR lore to ponder over, although I find it funny how the tracks just abruptly stop before colliding with anything important. Number 6. If you drive a train in the City Hospital area and zoom out, looking at the city of Stepford, you might be able to see some neon lit buildings which are arranged in the letters NHS. This is a reference to the British National Health Service, which was put there after COVID-19 to memorialise their efforts during the pandemic. A very worthwhile reference indeed. Number 7. The waterline extension to Esserfield opened up a really interesting railway alignment, with lots of tunnel portals, but have you ever noticed this? Following the line from Airport West towards James Street, you get to this tunnel portal. It looks pretty normal, however, on closer inspection, you can see a sign which calls it the Melrose Tunnel Portal. I wonder if this area of the airport has a nearby town called Melrose, or if this is just completely random. Also, if you look closely, the next tunnel portal towards James Street has rails that take a while to turn from brown to black. Number 8. Spawn at Terminal 2 and follow this road until you get to this roundabout, where you can see a relatively large model of an Airbus A350 plane in Step Air livery. This is an excellent touch to the airport, which I'm sure excites many aviation fans. But have you ever noticed that every single plane in Stepford looks the exact same? Imagine that in real life. Welcome to Heathrow. We've got here a BA Airbus A380 landing. And it looks like there's one behind it that's exactly the same. What do you know? And this one again is exactly the same. Number 9. In my last video about Easter eggs, you might remember how I showed you the area behind Benton Station, and I said, and maybe SCR should make a rip-off of the backrooms here. Well, funnily enough, if you spawn at Benton and follow me this way towards the wall behind Dom's Donuts, you can see that they actually put a sign on the wall that says welcome to the backrooms. What can I say? That's a winner. Number 10. If you spawn at Airport Central and somehow get yourself onto the roof of the main part of the station, you can see that there is a large white National Rail symbol on the roof that you can't normally see. But why is this, may you ask? Well, Airport Central is based off of Gatwick Airport Station, and if you look on Google Satellite, you can see that the station has the same feature in real life. Number 11. Inside West Benton Station, you can see a small model of a Class 165, which is another Matty reference. It refers to his legacy Next Gen V2 trains, which he modelled for SCR a few years ago. All of them have since been replaced by newer mesh models. Funnily enough, the plaque under it used to be spelt wrong and said modals instead of models for several months. Number 12. Back at Airport Parkway, if you look very closely at one of the Class 66 models, you can see that something's not quite right. If you look at the number of this unit, you can see that it is not labelled as a 66, but rather 61016. This is a subtle reference to British Railways in real life, which regularly announces this message.
If you see something that doesn't look right, speak to staff or text the British Transport Police on 61016. We'll sort it.
I think every British person is sick of this announcement. Number 13. At Eden Quay, if you follow the roads to where the quay is, you'll notice a small green foot tunnel which takes you underneath the quay and over to the other side. Personally, I think that it looks rather cramped, and if it was placed in London it would probably smell pretty bad. And no, the fact that it's labelled subway doesn't mean we're getting a metro. Number 14. Inside the passenger lounge at Airport Central, if you take a sneaky look behind this serving desk, you can see that there is an image of a golden retriever on the computer screen. What can I say? I guess the staff at Airport Central must really like golden retrievers. Number 15. In version 2.0, many stations across the map have had brand new TRTS boxes fitted to the platforms. In real life, these boxes are used by dispatchers to indicate that the train they are dispatching is ready to start. Unfortunately, these aren't currently being used for dispatching in SCR, but hopefully we'll be able to open them up and use them for dispatching soon enough. Number 16. Back at Airport Central, if you walk down to the very end of the platform, you can see a car stop marker for 9 to 12 car trains. Interestingly, SCR doesn't currently have any trains longer than 7 cars, deeming this pretty useless. Does this mean that we'll be getting longer trains soon? Some other stations also have car stop markers for 9 and 10 car Class 80X trains, suggesting that those trains which we already have might be extended soon. Number 17. Across the SCR map, there certainly isn't a shortage of funny shop names, but some shops are special and have signs and other features on them. Here's a compilation of a few I've found. Grease Networker Turbos at Farley is sponsored by Grease Cosmetics and has an S falling off at the end. Billy seems to have put a sign advertising some job positions open on the Pizza by Billy shop at James Street. At Wester Coast, Greenslade Security has apparently elapsed 0 days since the last break-in. Don't know about you, but I would not trust these people. Bit sus. Also here at Wester Coast, Harry's Holidays is ironically closed during the holiday period. What? Wise Knots apparently only has 3-star rated staff at Airport Parkway. Sounds like your average fast food chain in a city to me. Toby, don't forget to put a shop name here or else! Oh my, what happened to Toby? And finally, at Hemden Park, I think you can all figure this one out for yourselves. Number 18. Welcome to Stepford United Football Club, home of football, hooliganism, and Rob. Funnily enough, if you zoom out to have a look inside the stadium, you can see that it's bright blue on the inside, and there is literally nothing else. The same thing is true for the grandstand at Millcastle Racecourse for some reason. Strange. Number 19. At Benton, the area where you can purchase tickets has this sign over it. You might notice that the font looks a little odd compared to the rest of the map. That's because it's in Highway Gothic, which is the font that SCR used to use for all of its signage. I like this feature because it reminds me of when SCR used to be littered with this font absolutely everywhere. Number 20. At Lynn by the Sea, lots of us know about this strange collection of rooms in the middle of the station. Something recently added in version 2.0 was this room, which is full of 8 signalling desks, all of which have been labelled Trainee Signaller. Maybe this room will be used for signaller trainings one day. Number 21. Back at Airport Central, it looks as though the people of Stepford have actually been using the bins. There is a bin inside the station which actually has things inside it. However, oddly enough, it looks like the people of Stepford only carry around grey cylinders to throw away. Not quite sure what they're supposed to do with those. Number 22. Across the county of Stepford, many stations have opted to include a lounge for passengers to enjoy. Originally, it was just Stepford Central, but now that list includes Lynn, North Shore, West Wyvern, and Airport Central, where it also looks like you can buy alcohol for some reason, despite this being a game for all ages. Also, all the lounges have a piano which you can play. Number 23. Have you ever observed how most of the cars parked in places across Stepford look very similar? One type in particular stands out because it looks like a Tesla car, and it looks as though lots of people across Stepford seem to own them. It's probably because one of the developers drives one, but it's funny that Stepford loves Mr. Elongated Muskrat so much. Number 24. If you have a look at the scenery around Airport Parkway, it's not difficult to spot this building here, which looks awfully similar to Battersea Power Station in London. That isn't the first time that buildings have been copied over to SCR. You can also recognise the Gherkin in central Stepford, number 25. To top everything off, and this isn't really a secret, a statue of the former driver-manager Steve was placed outside the front of Stepford Central recently. Steve suddenly passed away a few months ago, so it's a nice touch to forever remember Steve through this little corner of the map. There's also a small rose on the statue, which is a nice reference to Steve's partner Rose, who is also a driver manager. So there you go, that was 25 more random things in SCR you might not have known. Before I end off the video, I also want to mention a few things from the last video which are no longer true. Zippy very sadly got removed from the caravan park, presumably to avoid copyright. Platform 0 at Stepford Central is actually in use now, to my surprise, and that random bridge under the Whitefield line is now gone. Also, the floating line of trees at Berrily was removed, though I feel like that was just to spite me. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and consider subscribing if you want to support my channel. My name is Dweller, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching!